Professor Gunjan Mansingh from the University of the West Indies. And she's a professor of data science in the Department of Computing at the UWI Mona. She teaches various courses at the undergraduate and graduate level in computer science, information systems, and data science, including business intelligence, programming, artificial intelligence, data visualization, and knowledge discovery and analytics. She's the chairperson of ICT Authority of Jamaica, the entity for ICT services and solutions for the government of Jamaica. She's also a member of the Digital Transformation Advisory Council set up by the Office of the Prime Minister to guide the digital transformation of Jamaica. She's also a member of the steering committee from CARICOM Girls in ICT. There's a lot more that I could say about Professor Mansingh, and she traveled all the way from Kingston. I want to welcome you. And I'll hand over to you now.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. So let's just talk a little bit about AI and make sure that everything is working. Now, you know, when you hear about AI, most of you probably think it's just something that started recently. But AI is the oldest discipline in computer science. It started in 1950, and actually the term was coined in 1955 and 1956. If it was a human being, 10 years ago, it would have been retired. But now it's taken on a new life, and that's the journey of its life that we are also going to be talking about. So when it started in 1950s and in 1997, there was, there was an AI winter initially when it started in 50s, and in 97 there was a big event, and the big event was that AI algorithm actually beat the grand chess master Garry Kasparov. And Garry Kasparov complained that the computer was cheating. So just to tell you how smart that machine was. So in the AI world, 1997 was a very important year when an AI computer was able to beat the chess grandmaster. Then AI continued with its algorithms, and it, as you can see, many years went on. And then there was another monumental year in 2016, and surprisingly, they all are related to games. There's a game called Go, AlphaGo, and this game, again, the master of Go was defeated by a computer game. By a computer, I should say, not a computer game, by a computer, by an algorithm. Now, what happened here? Now, it was slightly different from 1997. 1997 was still algorithms-based, things that computer programmers write. But now in 2016 and 2017, it was based on data. All the data that is there, that is around for this game, that was all put in, and from learning from patterns, this machine had now defeated the human master of Go. So that was now something, everybody in the AI space learned about the value of data. And nowadays, I think everybody understands data protection and privacy laws that we need to have, and we have a Data Protection Act. So you all are probably being impacted by it every day. And just the understanding that data is actually a very valuable asset for your organization. And how do you make it into something that you can make it actionable? Now that is another ball game which we need to have a bigger discussion on. Now, so let's talk about AI of present. I used to sometimes call it the AI of future, but this is not even the AI of future because this is what is happening now. You might have heard about ChatGPT. So everybody has heard about ChatGPT. Even if you don't know ChatGPT, on your phones, when you have WhatsApp, you see that there is something Meta out there. That is also an AI agent. So everyone is being exposed to these AI agents. Nowadays, even when you search in Google, it's giving you something from the AI agent before giving you the Google, the actual websites that you can click on and go to. So this also started in 2018, from the after the AlphaGo story. And in 2020, and on November 30th, 2022, was a monumental day for AI. Because that was the day ChatGPT was released. Now, people in computer science and researchers were using this kind of AI in their labs. I had a student who was working with some of these tools that you're seeing here, MuseNet, Jukebox. Even in 2021 and 2020, we were working with these tools, but we were doing it in our research labs. What happened on November 30th, 2022, was it was on everyone's fingertips. That is the power, that now everybody had access to it. You didn't even need these smart computers, gigabits of RAM in your computer to be able to run it. Everybody had access to it. And what you find that it has become mainstream. It is here to stay. It's not going away anywhere. So we need to understand how to deal with this. AI, if you want to call it the monster or the friend or the assistant, whatever you wish to call it, it is here to stay. It is mainstream. It is highly competent too. Sometimes even the creators, these Geoffrey Hinton, who got the Nobel Prize in Physics, actually got it for neural networks, which is what these technologies are built on. He has given many interviews saying that he fears that they are going to get smarter than human beings because how they are able to compute so quickly. So, whatever fears are there in people's mind, in researchers' mind, the thing is it has become mainstream and it is here to stay. There is no going back on it. So what can we do about it? And the important thing is it impacts our life really profoundly. If you have young children, you should see them using it probably much more than you are using it. Our whole education system needs to now evolve to be able to deal with this AI in the space that the young children, students are using. As lecturers in our classrooms, we have to evolve to make sure that our students are staying on top of it. So I want to just share with you with some of the capabilities of these tools, some interesting capabilities. But just for you to understand, it is what we call, it is a stochastic parrot. So think of all the data in this world, on all the websites and various books with every possible data source that is there, is in this collection, which is what OpenAI did. And then you ask a question, and based on what you are asking, it probabilistically just pulls out words. Just pulls out words in a sequence, and it gives it to you. And it does it so fast, and it does it so beautifully that you think it's actually making sense. But how is it working in the background? It's based on all the patterns that are there already. And based on what you have asked, it brings attention to the words that you have asked, and then it's pulling those out. That's why we call it the stochastic parrot. So it's nothing but a parrot, but we think of it as a very intelligent being now. And let's just understand what can it generate, because I find this very useful sometimes to see what can it generate. So it can generate literature, it can generate code. I teach coding to my students, programming, and it can write programs. So I have to now see how am I teaching it to my students? How am I going to change my classrooms? It can generate music, it can generate art, and it can also generate, you can write books and you can write literature. So just to show you some examples of what it can do. So this is, I asked ChatGPT, or maybe one of them, as to, I have political ambitions. What degree should I pursue? So I don't know, Prof. Campbell, if you have had somebody ask these questions, and then it tells you, what should you do to have a political ambition? So it can even guide you in those kind of scenarios. And where is Paulette? Paulette, I'm going to ask you to read this for me just now.
Run the race, my boy. Run it good. Left all laziness and badness in the wood. Stretch your hand for the button. Hold it tight. And make sure you pass it on to the right. Don't look to the left. Don't look to the wrong. Run straight and true. Make yourself strong. And when you reach the finish line, give thanks and sing a song.
When was Olympics? 2020? Huh? This poem actually we had generated using a GPT model in 2020. And whose style is it in? Miss, Miss Lou? So that's what I said, and it was during Olympics, and it came up with this poem. I specified how many lines of code, and the reason I didn't read it, because I've been in Jamaica for 34 years, but if I try and read it, my sons will come and tape up my mouth. So I always try and get someone else to read this poem. But you can see how powerful it is in even, Miss Lou's content, the language it created was beautiful. Then I said, okay, let me experiment with these paintings. And we experimented with generating a Jamaican beach, a Jamaican countryside. And I said, wow, I'm an artist too now. I was a poet before. Now I'm an artist. So you can see what it can do. And these are, the prompts I gave to get these paintings. Then the next one is one of my research students. He had created these music. And I'll just take the microphone close to the computer because you may not be able to hear it. It's playing. It's TV.
Let the fire burn just as long as I'm there. I'll be there in your life. I'll be there when
You can go to the next one.
she's right. And I don't
Stop the country, otherwise it will play both. Wait, just go back. Play the reggae now. You're not going back? Let me go back for you. Okay, click again now. Perfect. You can just move. Okay, before we go to the slide, did you think the country music was clearer than reggae? Reggae just sounded like a bad recording? Yeah. Huh? So what do you think is the reason for that? No? The data. There is probably a lot more country music in that database that this tool was trained on. So it could create country music quite nicely. You could hear the lyrics in country music, but the reggae just seemed like, can we get a better recording? And that means there was not enough data. So now, do you understand the power that data plays? Huh? So it's that data it's using for training it, and I would say, thank God there was not enough data, because we don't want these machines to be creating reggae music. I don't know how you feel about it, but I feel that there's a cultural identity, cultural context which needs to be preserved with AI. And that's a conversation we should also be having in our country. So then I looked at writing some code, and I came up with the business problem to write a program in Python that calculates cost of goods sold for a retail business. And you might have to hire a programmer to do this who will write some code in a language called Python, and then you will run it. But there is a tool which can now spit out that code for you. Now, but you still need someone to figure out it is doing the right thing. Because remember, what is it? It is a stochastic parrot. You don't know when that parrot is doing wrong things. Now, so why should we have AI as part of our lives? So we are agreeing that AI is mainstream, it's here to stay, because it is automating the mundane. It is augmenting our capabilities. If you have ever used it to write an email or to write a letter or to do something, or brainstorm ideas, you'll be impressed with what it can do for you. And it is humanizing technology that you can get it to, you can talk to the machine. So that is very powerful for people with disabilities, sight issues, that we can now have these computers which we can talk to. And very easily. So there are many advantages or strengths that I should say for about generative AI, which is it can understand language, the natural language that we speak. It excels at creating content quickly. You can create blogs. You can create Instagram posts. You can use it for marketing. There are lots of tools, AI tools for doing that. You can summarize information. If you're a research student, my God, it makes the job of reading a research paper so easy. You can summarize what this paper is it's like in pages. It can enhance creativity. You saw how it enhanced my creativity. I was a boring programmer, and look what all I became. And it can improve productivity. Now, that is some of the things which you are probably more interested in. How can it improve productivity in your day-to-day workflows? So just to tell you, there are many, these generative AI are based on what we call large language models, and there are several. OpenAI, which is ChatGPT, was the first one that started. But then there has been Gemini, which is, I think, the Google's Gemini. Then Claude, then Llama, Grok. Grok is Elon Musk's, it's part of your Twitter if you see it. Mistral, which is an open source one. That's a good one because it's open source. You don't have to pay for every time you're asking these things a question, especially if you're using it in your businesses. And the recent one was DeepSeek. So these are just some of these large language models, and you might have heard these terms. I tend to use just on this, when I'm just asking it questions, I tend to use ChatGPT and DeepSeek. And I find DeepSeek to be quite useful, actually. I will not lie. And the truth is, think of it as a tool. DeepSeek is a tool that's on the right-hand side. But when calculators came around, in 1986, maths teachers protested against calculator use in classrooms. So there will always be a learning curve to new technology, and that is where we are, and this is what we have to overcome, that learning curve. Because I don't know if you remember using log tables. Who wants to use log tables? I have forgotten how to use log tables. Some of you may have done log tables in your school days. But since calculators, nobody needs to go back to those things. So tools are here, but remember they should be our assistants. Now, but I want to just show you a few things about these tools because I asked DeepSeek, give me the history of Tiananmen Square. And it said, sorry, that's beyond my current scope. Let's talk about something else. Are they truly facts? Now, this was very early. So this is OpenAI, and this is Gemini. And we had asked this question, which city is further north, Kingston or Montego Bay? This is maybe in January 2023 or December 2022, we were asking these questions when ChatGPT was just released. So look, somebody got it wrong. Who got it wrong? GPT got it wrong. Kingston is further north than Montego Bay. But the truth is, that was initially. Now if you ask the same question, it gets it right. Because even that time it realized why so many people were asking the same question. Because we came across this, so thank God we captured it that time. Because now you can't get back the same answer. But what I'm showing you is, it can give you wrong answers. That's my objective. And if you don't know the right answers, you're in trouble. That's what you need to tell all the young people around you. So my husband had to go give a talk at a book launch. And the title of the book was The Road to Oman, The Journey of Hockey Jamaica to Inaugural FIH Hockey World Cup. He was just talking to the person, the author of this book, and I was sitting on my phone idle, and I put it in DeepSeek. And it gave me something very interesting. And it went on into ice hockey. Hockey is, meaning it went on to the journey of Jamaica and ice hockey team. And this has got nothing to do with ice hockey. It's got all to do with field hockey. Yeah? And the book has nothing to do about ice hockey. So thank God he didn't take this and read off at the book launch. Because that would have made him look like a, I don't know what, but... But you know, again, understanding that this is not, it doesn't get it right all the time. We have to really know, we have to have the knowledge base to always be on top of it to see whether it is correct or it is incorrect. Because it may be incorrect, and I've shown you examples of when it is incorrect. And it can also produce ethically questionable results. And that's when you need to be mindful about that too, because the data that it has been generated on may not have all been ethical data. And you know, and the funny thing is they've come up with this new term, hallucinations, for getting it incorrect. So when you have something wrong, they're calling it hallucinations, which is great. I think the machine hallucinates all the time because it's a stochastic parrot, so it's hallucinating all the time. Sometimes it's right, sometimes it's wrong. So it's an interesting word which has been introduced from 2023, I should say. So that's something to always remember, that these things can give you incorrect answers, and hence, this is a lesson for everyone in this day and age. Critical evaluation of AI output that is generated is essential. Do not ever take what it has given you as gospel. Never, ever. And make sure you are telling your children this message too, because they don't know that you can get it wrong. I don't have internet just now, but I could share this link with you. This is one of my students, my research students. He created this bot. And in this bot, all the laws of Jamaica have been put in there. And you can ask this, about Jamaican laws. So I asked it a question earlier on, is ganja legal in Jamaica? And it went on to the whole blurb as to, what the law is about it. So we can create our local contextual AI agents, or what we call AI agents, AI bots also. And this is an example of that. And I said, okay, I'm coming to Montego Bay. I think of Montego Bay as, city of tourism. So I asked ChatGPT, let's brainstorm what products the craft vendors in Jamaica should be focusing on to attract tourists. So it came up with some, generic ones that we know about already, but I like the smart add-ons. It was talking about, customization of products that the tourists can do. You can have QR codes to packages and link the videos of how these items are made and the cultural history behind them. If this is spewing out Miss Lou's poem, why not put Miss Lou's poem to something more sensible, right? At least sell our cultural context with the products that are being sold, gift packaging, okay, these are things we know. I must tell you, I thought DeepSeek gave me better answers. So I asked DeepSeek the same question also about brainstorming, what craft vendors can do. And I really liked what it gave here because I like the tech-friendly crafts, phone grips shaped like hummingbirds or national fruits, waterproof, beach-proof pouches with Jamaica Patois phrases, me love the vibes. And some DIY kits and stuff like that. So interesting ideas, right? Sometimes we see that we have the regular run-of-the-mill kind of, giraffes being sold in Jamaica. Why? We have no giraffes in Jamaica. I would buy a giraffe in Kenya. Why in Jamaica? So we have to monetize our cultural identity, link this with technology, with QR codes. They can scan and get some music on the product. And so let's bring technology and culture and identity all together in the new products that we can create. And I didn't have these ideas, but guess who gave me these ideas? AI gave me these ideas. And in this case, it was DeepSeek. So these are things you can engage with to get ideas. And it can never tell you, there was a marketing strategies for the vendors, and storytelling was a very important thing. Being that cultural identity came up as being critical. Now there are many, many, many AI tools. the main ones are the standard, but then there have some which have been built on top of those ChatGPTs, Claude, Grok, that will help you to do many activities. You can take notes. If you have minutes, it can take minutes for you. I'm sure you've experimented with that. Huh? It can, so you have Otter AI. Then there is something called Notion AI, which can help you to do business planning. Then there is Canva. Canva is actually very good for marketing, for your Instagram post, your various posts that you want to do, blogging. It can help you with that. I saw something, some images come alive in 3D and people were using Canva fabulously. So these are things which even I don't know how to do, but I can easily learn. And if people are interested in learning, there are many entities out here. There's JTDA, my friend Alexia, Jamaica Technology Digital Alliance, who work with all the technology companies in Jamaica. And they can hold, some workshops for you. There is Prof. Campbell from UWI, right here in Montego Bay. We can hold some hands-on workshops if people are interested in learning such things. So these are things which can be do. You can learn them. You can be part of your sales and customer service and what all. Then I asked about Montego Bay, and call centers obviously came to my mind. So I said, what about AI in call centers? What AI tools can replace my customer service agents? I really liked the answer it gave me, because it told me that you can replace them for 60% of the general things, frequently asked questions. But then it went on to speak about that the different layers, the tiered approach. That layer 1, that AI handles frequently asked questions, which is, what is my account balance kind of questions. Then the layer 2 is AI plus human co-pilot. It's the human is working with AI. First one is completely AI. Second one is human is working with AI, and it can answer questions like, I lost my card abroad. So it's saying that human should also be there. But look at layer 3, human only, which is, I am being scammed. At that point, you don't want to be talking to a AI agent. You want to be speaking to a human being. So I liked how it broke it down and saying that, how customer service AI tools can be used in call centers to what kind of activities, what kind of calls. And I found it interesting. I don't know if my call center people already are using these tools and if they have layered them like this, and it might be useful to see how this happens. Again, I didn't know anything about it. Now I do. So let's move on. So food for thought. AI will not replace workers, but workers who use AI will replace those who don't. So that's where HEART NSTA becomes very important, how we are upskilling our workforce. Upskilling workforce is essential because AI is not replacing jobs. It is the workers who are using AI. And there is, this, as I have shown you in some of the examples, this future of generative AI. It is basically our creativity and this machine intelligence coming together. And we have the worldwide open to do whatever we want to do with it, right? Our imagination is what is going to drive this innovativeness in this field. So it is basically your creativity and human intelligence and machine intelligence coming together to really take this field forward. Now, you might think it is this employee. Think of AI as an employee you have. And it is an employee who's a genius. And sometimes managing genius can be a nightmare, right? Some employers feel that way, that managing genius can be very difficult. So you're trying to navigate a high-speed roller coaster without any brakes. It can be exhilarating and slightly scary also. And so think of AI as an employee like that, an additional assistant like that, if you are using it. And I think I'm on my last few slides. We do have a conference in June 2nd to 4th, but June 2nd is the date which is of importance to you. It is going to be in Ocean Coral Springs, so very close to you all. And we will have an industry workshop in the day, which will be on building context-specific AI solutions using design science. So we're going to be focusing on AI in business. And it's going to be exploring structured approaches to using these large language models, which I spoke about, working with real data to get business insights, and using large language models, whether you're going to be doing it on your computers, in your enterprise, or you're going to be using it on cloud. So these are it's a one-day workshop. It's not very long. Some of these workshops, to learn a lot, you need probably a week or 2 weeks. But in a week, it will still be a hands-on workshop for industry people. That's how it's being designed. Initially, the person who designed it put lots of panels in there. I said, no panels. We want to make it a hands-on workshop. So if you are interested, then you can contact, either me, and Paulette has my contact details. There is Dr. Susan from my faculty office. There is Professor Campbell. He's very much here. So you can call us, and we can help you, either with more information on the workshop, and even generally. I think some of you may have questions. Can you use AI in your workflows? When you're doing things, can you build your own AI agent? Like you saw that law agent, right? Can you make it more contextual to your business? Somebody in construction was very excited with the idea when he saw the video of the law agent and saying, can I build something for my data, my construction data? And yes, the answer is yes. And we can help you to get started on that journey, and we can hold workshops for that right here at WJC and we can also bring people from JTDA. So there is a lot we can do to share knowledge, and that is our objective. So I hope I'm leaving you with, lots of insights on AI, and the fact there are opportunities. There are also threats, but if there were no threats, how would we have the opportunities then? So thank you all.